This is What If Deku was Foxy. Let's get straight into the video. Deku is at the quirk doctor, and the quirk doctor is telling Deku, sorry kid, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's not the fact that you don't have a quirk. It's just your quirk isn't really suited for heroic. Let's call your quirk Second Life. Or actually, I think Second Chance sounds better in this case. It gives you, like I said, a second life. That's all it really does. And I guess have a good day. That's all I'm really here to tell you. And Deku goes about his day really, and Nico takes him home. They celebrate for Deku getting his quirk. So let's say they actually, instead of going straight home, they go out to eat, and they don't go nowhere really fancy. It's not like they got a shit ton of money or anything. They go out though, and they enjoy themselves. Just Deku and Inko though. Asashi is still overseas, obviously, and that they have fun. They have a good day, and Inko and Deku go home. Inko pits Deku on the computer, asking him what does he want to watch, and he says that he wants to watch the new, he wants to watch the new ad for Five Nights at Freddy's. It's this pizzeria that he heard, that was going to open up soon, and that he would like to go there he would like to go someday. And Inko keeps the note, that's noted or whatever, and says okay, and she puts it on, and it's just all the Five Nights at Freddy animatronics, singing on stage and shit, and it shows the whole pizzeria, whatever. Before Deku, before Deku could even go though, it closes down for some reason. On the news, it said some kids went missing there, and then they just the pizzeria just closed down. It was only one or two kids though, nothing too severe for them to be completely closing down, but they still closed down for some reason. But it was said that there's still a security guard there at nighttime watching over the place to make sure nobody breaks in, but that's just a rumor. Nobody's really sure about that. Nobody's ever seen the job application for it or anything. It's just a rumor. So Deku goes about his life, really honestly, slowly kind of forgetting about Five Nights at Freddy's, but at the same time not, because he always wanted to go, and he said it was a small detail in his memory, but for some reason he just couldn't get it out of his head. He was slowly kind of obsessed with it, not to the point like he was with Heroes, but he had a few of the old merch of the, it was hard to get it, but he had a few of it. He had a few of them. He had a poster, and he had one or two plushies, and that's really it. But he goes about his he just goes about his life. That's just a small detail. So yeah, he just goes about his fucking life, whatever. And he hits the age of 16, and I don't know if that puts him in UA. If it does, let's just say he'd push UA back further, just because, yeah, I need him to be 16. So, he just goes about his fucking life. And yeah, I'm just saying he goes about his life as my thinking word for this whole fucking video, so don't think nothing of it when I say he goes about his life. I'm just using that as my filler word for thinking. But anyways, shit, where was I? Yeah, he's 16 now, and he's been training to become a hero, but he needs to learn a form of martial arts, he's thinking, and that's going to take money for the classes. So he's like, well, I'm 16 and I can get a part-time job to pay for it instead of asking my mom to. And he's looking, whatever, and he doesn't find nothing that really interests him. So he just keeps looking, and he goes to sleep without really applying for anything, honestly falling asleep at his keyboard. But when he wakes back up, he wakes up in the middle of the night, and it's on, an ad pops up for a Five Nights at this pizzeria. I was gonna say the fucking name, but we all know where it's gonna be at this pizzeria. And he clicks on it, reading it and seeing that it was at Five Nights at Freddy's. He's like, I thought this place closed down. Why would they need somebody to work there? He clicks on it because he does remember it. He's like, this is interesting. And he looks at it and he doesn't think nothing of it. He fills it out and he looks for a few more jobs, filling one out at a warehouse and a supermarket, saying these would be good backup options if I don't hear back from the pizzeria. But if I do hear back from there, that's most likely where I'm going to, go. And he waits a couple of days. He hears back from nothing, no job or nothing, honestly. He's saying, dang, should I apply for more? He decides to wait for a couple of days, and he goes to class. The teacher throws the papers in the air, just like in canon. Bakio gives his little speech, and he was about to tell Deku to take a swan dive off the building, but then he realized Deku had he had a second chance. So he realized that would be pointless to tell him. So he just tosses his notebook out the fucking window and throws some explosions at Deku, saying that he'll be fine if he dies anyway. And walks out the classroom. And Deku, upset, pulls out his phone after hearing a notification goes off, and he starts walking down stairs to grab his notebook. And as he's clicking through to see what the notification was, oh, different part, okay. Anyways, he's sitting there to blah 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 blah. What the fuck? What was I saying? As he's clicking in his phone to see what the notification was, he goes to his email and he realizes that it was an email from the Five Nights at Freddy's pizzeria, and he clicks on it, and it says it just sends him the location of the pizzeria, and it tells him to go there at let's say at 12 at night. He's like, that's pretty late, but okay. And he does realize, he didn't realize that it was a night position, but he says that's pretty late and just notes it down that he has to be there at 12. And he goes home and he takes a nap because he has to wake up early. The Sutherland incident doesn't happen. It's honestly not important in this. It can happen, but it just doesn't. It's not important, so it's not gonna happen. And actually, it can happen. Let's just say that Bakio gets caught up in it, though. Deku really doesn't get involved. And he goes about his fucking... Damn it. I was gonna say he goes about his life. He goes home. He takes a nap or whatever. And he wakes up at like 10. And he starts getting ready. He gets ready. And he goes to the pizzeria. He's there an hour early, so he decides to go in. He sees that the door is boarded up. He's like, how am I supposed to get in? So he starts walking around. He walks around to the back and see that there's a back door. He opens the back door. Well, he tries to open the back door, realizing that it's unlocked. Opening it, he walks in. He looks around and he sees a couple of the animatronics, thinking that like these look cool. He pulls out his annihilation book that he has on Foxy and decides to flip a couple pages forward, writing down the animatronic's name because he obviously knows it. He just never took any time to write down notes for them because he doesn't really care about them that much. But now that he's in person, he's like, might as well while I'm here and I'm early. So he takes his time and he writes down notes about all of them, and he goes into the office and he sits down. And exactly at 12, the phone starts ringing. He's like, he sits there and he's not sure if he's supposed to be picking this up or not, but he eventually realizes, well, nobody else was here to pick it up. So he picks up the phone and he hears phone guy. Phone guy tells him, welcome to your first day at work. And everything goes to like, I don't remember what phone guy says. So everything goes to canon to whatever phone guy says in the game or whatever phone guy says in general. I just don't remember it, and I'm not going to bother to find out because it's not really important. Deku, his first day of work, honestly, goes pretty normal. Nothing eventful happens whatsoever, and he leaves at 6 a.m. He goes home, and that just becomes his daily routine. He does it for like a month, doing his martial arts training, also finally signing up for a class in, let's just say, some martial arts. I'm not, like I said, I don't really know no martial arts, so I'm not going to pick a certain one. But let's just say that it's a form of martial arts where he takes the enemy's like momentum and like counters, like he just counterattacks. Like he never really throws a punch. He just like takes the momentum and pushes them down or whatever. Basically he only hurts them by them hurting themselves. I feel like that would be useful for him right now. And he goes, I was gonna say he goes about his fucking life. Yeah, he does go about his life, honestly. And let's say by like the third month, he's pretty confident in his martial arts skills by now. So he started studying and also goes to work. But this time, when he goes to work, something interesting happens. The animatronics actually move. He gets scared and he closes the doors. He's never really closed the doors on them before because they never moved. He didn't think it was necessary. He closes the doors though because he's scared, realizing that the doors only have a certain amount of power. He doesn't know what's going to happen when they get to him, but something tells him, don't let them get to me. Like, it's just an inner voice, like something calling out to him, saying, if they get to me, I'm fucked. I'm dead. I know I'm dead. He doesn't know why. It's just an inner feeling, like a gut feeling. So he closes the door when they get close, watching the camera, saying that it's glad that he snooped around, finding out that it had cameras, and deciding to actually look in the drawers of the desk, realizing that there was a laptop that allowed him to look at the cameras, thinking, well, this is useful. And he survives his first night where they actually are moving around. He doesn't know what to do. He actually finally hears back from phone guy telling him that he survived his first real night at the job. And to make sure to not let the animatronics get him. And Deku tells him, wow, I like, that's pretty obvious. And phone guy chuckles a little bit and hangs up. Honestly, I think Deku and phone guy might actually become friends in this. Who knows? Anyways, continuing. Deku survives for a pretty long time, honestly. It doesn't end at night 6. This isn't a part-time job. He needs this job. So after a couple of nights of them moving around, he gets pretty used to their moving schedule. Yeah, they got faster. They got a little bit smarter, even, you might say. But it's not like they actually will ever outsmart Deku. Deku studied each and every one of them before even getting in, before even starting the job. Heck, he studies them even now that they're moving. It's easier, like learning every little detail about each and every robot. Foxy was always his favorite, so he knows the most details about Foxy, obviously. And one day, one day he decides to go early, realizing that the robots always start moving exactly at 1. So let's say that he goes at 11, and he decides to get a better look at Foxy, and he's messing around at Foxy, and he realizes that it can open. He opens it, he climbs inside, and he decides to take a better look. As he's taking a look inside, nothing really happens. He climbs out, and he just writes the fact that they all have like inners, like there's an inner body layer into them, and he just writes that down and doesn't think about it. And at this point, he's like 5-6 months into the 10 months of training, so UA's about to start pretty soon. He's thinking that I might stand a chance, but I'm not really sure if I can get in with what I know. So he's honestly pretty hesitant, but he does fill out the papers to go to UA. He does want to become a hero. That's his dream after all. And that's the whole point. That's the whole reason that he got this job in the first place. And everything goes honestly pretty normal until one day Foxy breaks in. Deku, honestly pretty scared, like fights off Foxy for as long as he can, but once it hits 6 a.m. Foxy stops moving. He's like, oh, they stop moving at 6. I never realized that. I always manage to just slip out after my shift, thinking that I'm just like that they just coming to the office. They're programmed to come to the office. I didn't know they stopped moving. So Deku decides, well, he's right here. And he's like, well, him being in the office when I get here tomorrow isn't the best idea. So he tries moving it, realizing that he can't, saying, well, maybe if I get inside and try moving it that way, that will work. He climbs inside, honestly, pretty hesitantly. He hesitates. He fucking hesitates. And he starts trying to move inside of it, and it works. It powers on, and then suddenly he feels this sharp pain, and everything goes black. He's in this pit of this darkness, and he starts to look around, seeing this strand, two of them, one going one way and one going the other, and he's thinking, is this my quirk? Is this my second life? How did I die? Like what's happening? He's confused, and he starts pulling on the strands, and each strand that he pulls on, it starts getting like the, how do I explain it, color, like his vision starts returning. Like everything starts getting brighter, and he starts being able to make out what's going on. And suddenly he wakes up, but he feels taller. He feels different. He doesn't really notice not the fact that he's like really different. He just feels different, and he starts going home. As he's going home, he's getting weird looks. It's pretty late, but like still, people are up for like getting ready to go to work. And every time somebody passes him, he gets like this really scared, like weird look at him. And he gets home, and he goes to reach in his pockets to get the key, and he realizes that he never got out the animatronic. So just fucked up. Well, I'm not restarting. I'll just keep going. I so could have did this differently. Oh well. He goes to reach in his pocket, realizing that he never got out of the animatronic. And he looks at his hands, and he's like, wait, these aren't my hands. He looks at his other hand, realizing that it's a claw. And he's honestly shocked. He he gets scared and he honestly just pushes, like he just breaks the door open. Like he's just that, like he goes to push the door open, or like he just goes to knock and the door just completely falls over, waking up Inko. Inko rushes to the hallway and just sees Foxy right there. She's absolutely scared. She starts screaming, and Deku goes to talk, saying, "Mom, it's me. Like, what's wrong?" I'm not. Oh, I already said that he looked at his hands. Fuck. I'm taking it back. I know I shouldn't do that, but I'm taking it back. He doesn't realize that it's him, that he's Foxy or whatever, and he goes to open the door. The door is open. Inko usually keeps it unlocked for him because she knows that he has to go back. And he goes up and he goes to his room. His bed is too big. That's weird. But he doesn't think anything of it. Not even bothering to turn on the light. He covers up and goes to bed. I so ruined it. Oh well, you already knew he was going to become Foxy anyway. But let's just change the narrative though. He ends up waking up and going out of his room. And he feels something hit the top of his door. Because let's say like the height of Foxy is like tall as fuck, right? So not his head, but his ears hit the top of the fucking door, and he feels that. I know he's metal, but like I feel like, you know, he would still be able to feel shit, but it just wouldn't hurt, right? So fucking his ears hit the door or whatever, and he doesn't think nothing of it. He just rubs his head, and he realizes that his Foxy has fur. I know in this picture that he doesn't, but he has fur. So like when he fucking touches his head, he feels hair or whatever, but like it feels different. Like he touches, like he's like sitting there patting his head, like rubbing it. So like when he fucking goes to like pat it more towards the side, he hits his robotic ear. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" And it makes him go look in the mirror. And when he looks in the mirror, he realizes that he's fucking Foxy. He screams his fucking lungs out, like so fucking bad, basically like a fucking jump scare scream, and that wakes up Inko runs to see what's wrong, running to the bathroom, seeing Foxy. Then she freaks out. Deku says, "Mom, it's me." Inko slowly, like very, very slowly, realizing that it's fucking Deku, says what happened. Deku explains that he was at work, because she knows where he worked. She didn't approve of it, but she like couldn't fucking stop him. He's old enough to get his own job. He decided to work there. She's not going to approve of it, but she's not going to be like, "Don't work there." So she realizes that, like, oh, dude, like, what fucking, he's like, he goes to explain what fucking happens. He's like, the animatronic started moving. She looks at him, says like, "You didn't, like, why didn't you never tell me?" He's like, "I didn't think that it was that important. As long as they didn't get into the office, I was fine." But Foxy ended up getting into the office, right, but like a couple minutes before it was time for me to leave, and I was dodging him or whatever, and I was like getting ready to run out of the building, but then 6 o'clock hit and he stopped moving, and I'm like, in my head I was like, it's bad for him to be here when I need to get here tomorrow, so let me move him. I wasn't strong enough to move him, and I analyzed him one time, like when I got there early. One day when I left early, I, looked at Foxy or whatever and realized that you can climb inside of him. So I decided the best way to move him was to climb inside of him. That sounds so weird. Whatever. And she instantly gets up and smacks Foxy on the back of the head. I'm going to call him Deku from now on, but I just wanted to say that. She smacks Deku on the back of the head and says, "You idiot, why would you climb into a fucking robot, machine?" And then she smacks him on the back of the head again. honestly yelling at him like really badly for hours, and then telling him to finish explaining now. He tells her that suddenly everything went dark and there was a lot of strings. He pulled the strings back together, and when he was done, like his vision came back. He didn't think much of it, but it's just what happened. And she's like, so that most likely was your quirk activating. And he sighs and says, most likely. And I'm guessing the only reason I'm alive is because of my quirk, and the only reason I'm in this body is because of how I died. I died in this body, and his body was too. No, because the way that his quirk worked was he came back to life after he died, but the quirk doctor never said it was if he died of somebody killing him. It was only if he died of old age. But in this way, no, it was only if he died in general, he would just come back to life. But it was like his quirk couldn't heal his body in any type of way. So when he died, his quirk, because let's say that Deku died because of a gunshot wound, right? His body would come back to life, but he would only still, that gunshot wound would still be there. He would still have to go get that healed, or he would die again. He would have to go get the bullet removed and get patched up, or he would be dead again. His quirk didn't heal him. It didn't heal his energy. It didn't heal his wounds. It just brought him back to life. That's all it did, right? So he got brought back to life, but his quirk couldn't heal his body. So when he was pulling the strings back together, he was pulling his soul into fucking Freddy's body, making basically his spirit live inside of the animatronics, kind of like how the animatronic souls are actually in the fucking body in the game or whatever, right? Well, not the animatronic souls, but the kids' souls are in the animatronics or whatever. Kind of like that, but different, because I don't know if Deku's going to be the only one, honestly. But for now, Deku's the only one that is in an animatronic body. And they just accept it, and they tell him, well, let's go, tell them that, let's just say that this is what happened, and they can just write it down as your new quirk or whatever, that your quirk allowed you to possess this animatronic or whatever. So now you're kind of a robot, and they get his quirk updated. And I know this video is pretty short, but it's a starting point for part 2, I guess, because I'm kind of tired, honestly, and I'm just gonna leave it off here. But let's see, anything important I want to do before I end the video? No, yeah, Deku explains everything to Inko, and he gets his quirk updated, and yeah, let's leave it off there. He still is going to go to UA, just noting that for my future self, and bye.